watching this video. This video is brought to you by newqbo.com. That's our QBO blog, QuickBooks blog, so you want to check it out. We have great articles and free video tutorials to help you. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to record consignment sales on consignees' books in QuickBooks Online. So you have someone sending you some goods to sell it, and how do you handle that in QuickBooks Online. That's the focus of this video. Okay, so it's basically you have commission income, whatever you sell, and then you have a consignor's liability, depending upon how your deal is set up. Let's say in this case is 20%, you keep 20% and you send 80% back to your consignor. So total sales is always $100, and basically on your books you'll have commission income of $20 and $80 as a consignor's liability. Okay, so you create those two accounts, chart of accounts, commission income, that's your sales income, and then one is the liability one. Okay, so we'll go over that, how it's created when I do the demo. So basically, the accounting wise, it's always $100 sales, so you collect $100 from whoever wants to buy this, your customer, and then $20 commission, $80 is then you need to send back to your consignor. Okay, and in product or services, item setup, you need to set up whatever item you're selling. Okay, and that one should be mapped to the income account on your product services field. Should be mapped to liability account, which is consignor's liability account, not the commission income account. So you don't want to show $100 as your income. You just want to show $20 as your income. So the second one is the one you will map to your income account, which is this commission income. And the first one is mapped to the consignor's liability, and then you have to reduce the $20 from your number one item. Then you'll have the balance is $80. $100 minus $20 is the liability, and $20 is your income. And so when you create invoice or sales receipt, you don't want to show all three items to your customers. That looks kind of awful. So what you need to do, you need to create a bundle, and that will consist of the three items above. We'll go through that when I do the demo. So the product item, whatever we're selling, and the commission income side, and the commission reduced liability from number one for the commission portion. Okay, now be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channels. We have free video tutorials on YouTube. So we have two channels, youtube.com for Ruslet BP Controller, and the other one is youtube.com QuickBooks QBO. Okay, so once we're done with this, we're going to go to QuickBooks Online, and I'm going to show you one without inventory, just treating as non-inventory, and the other example doing tracking inventory, which is a little tricky. It's a little bit complicated, and for that you need plus plan. If you want to track inventory, you need plus plan and or advanced plan. But if you don't want to track as inventory, just sell it and create bundle, then Essentials will do it. But if you have Simple Start, they don't have bundles, so it's not going to work. So you have to do something totally different on your own. Okay, the principle is, it basically split your sales, 20% and 80% deal. Okay, I'm going to go to QuickBooks Online. Let's see here. Okay, so I have QuickBooks Online here. Let's go to the Essentials one. The other one I don't have. Oh, this is the Essential one. Okay. Okay, first I'll show you the chart of accounts. I will set up. Basically, you set up two accounts. One for the liability portion, and the other one is basically your commission income. You know, the commission income. So you just need those two: consignor's liability and commission income. That's all you need. Okay. So now, and on the product and services side, so you need to create a couple of items, 4 items actually. Okay, the first one is commission income, that's your 20%, and then your sales, that's your 100%. But it's mapped to, as I said, to the liability account. See, one is income, that's the 20%. The other one is your liability account, and when you invoice, basically it's $100, $100%, and you then reduce your liability by 20%. Okay, so I'm going to show you all these, how this is set up. I'm going to go inside. First, go to the consignment sales. Okay, so consignment sale, the income count field, it goes to the consignor liability, which is we have created. That's the one you want, not the sales account. Okay, you don't want to show sales as 100%. You want to show sales as 20% because that's your income. Okay, and then on the first one, the commission income is a regular one. It's basically, it goes to your commission income. This is your 20%. Okay, and then the other one is the reduce your liability. The third one, basically, you take out the commission expense, consignor's liability account. So the same account, your $100 minus this portion is $20. That becomes the net liability for $80. Okay, and so basically you just need 1, 2, 3, and then you create a bundle. Okay, so let's go to bundle. Okay, so let's say you have a gadget name 101, and then you add consignment sale, commission income, and reduce your liability to recognize as revenue from here. Now, this one I just put it negative. So if you don't put negative, that's okay. But when you create invoice, you have to show amount as negative. But I have already minus in here. So when you create invoice or sales receipt, you can just put the whatever amount you have. You'll see it. Okay. So now let's go to the sales receipt here. I already created one sales receipt. Okay, and then if you want to use the consignment field, you can just use one and just enter your consignor's name. This will be just internal. Your customer won't see it. So basically, if you want to do it, you just go to the gear icon, account and settings, and sales, and see the custom fields. So consignor's name in here, and then you want to make this internal one. You don't want to show to your clients. You don't want to make it public. So whoever buys this, they don't need to know your consignor's name. So just make it internal. Okay, so let's go to the sales receipt. I've already created one in here. Okay, so when you create sales receipt or sales invoice, you just select the bundle. The bundle name in here, I just put it gadget 101. So once you select this, it will list all these 4 items. It's basically a roll up of the the number 2, number 3. These 3 roll up to 1,000. Okay, so in this case, let's say you sold for $1,000. I'm just going to do the 0 for now, and then I'm going to show you like this. Okay, when you add the new one, I'm just going to show you a new one in here. All right, ready to sell it. You have bundle there, and let's say James Smith is a customer, and consigner. Just write down enter your consigner's name. Whatever it is, let's say Mr. Jackson. All right, okay, and then fill out all the rest. And on this one, you just select a bundle, which is Gadget 101 is the bundle in here. Gadget 101. Okay, see, it will list everything. And let's say in this case, you sold it for $10,000. Okay, and you have to manually figure out your commission portion. So let's say if it is 20%, it's $2,000. And I already put the negative in here, so now you just have to put the same amount in here. So now the invoice, the sales receipt is $10,000. You sold for $10,000. Don't worry, your customers won't see all the details, the breakdowns. The customer will just see the top line line item on it. So I'm going to show you here. I'm going to save this. Okay, if you printer preview, then you will see it. As you can see here, it will see just the top line, Gadget 101, 10,000, that's it, Okay, so this is how it works. If you're not tracking inventory, you're just making a non-inventory, just sell whatever item. You're not tracking inventory, so just sell it. So the basic principle is based, and I'll show you the transaction in here. Okay, in this case, you have $10,000 deposited to your bank account. You sold it, you deposited, whatever. Okay, and $10,000 is the one you sold it to a customer, and basically your portion is $2,000, and it comes out $2,000 from this $10,000. So basically, liability is $8,000. So if you go to the liability account from the chart of account, you will see 8,000. In this case, I have more than one in here. So if you go in here, you will see the run report. So you have 10,000 minus 2,000 is $8,000. I have another one for $800 there. Okay. So let's see here. Let's make this prior date. Let's say in here. So now you can see it. See, 10,000 minus 2,000 is $8,000. Okay. So now that's how you do it. Now let's say you have plus plan or advanced plan. You want to do the inventory tracking. It's a little bit serious business now. So I'm going to go to plus or advanced plan I have in here. Okay. The income, the chart of accounts, basically it's the same thing. You just create those two accounts. So it's basically create one liability account and then your commission income account, those two. I have other ones, but those related to something else. It's a demo thing. So you just need the liability, the consignment sells your liability, then you need to pay back to your consigner, and then your portion of your income. Okay, so on your P&L, it's basically uh, profit and loss. So you just have a commission income. That's about it. And in this case, I'm tracking inventory. I'm going to show you why it's showing zero in here, but basically it's in and out type, and the commission income is still the same. Okay, so now and on the balance sheet, you'll see your liability account. Okay, see liability in here, so you owe this money to your consignor, so you can write a check or whatever, bank transfer, whatever, and then use the same account. Okay, so now we saw the chart of accounts. Now let's go to the product and service, how this one is set up. This one, if you're tracking inventory, this gets a little complicated. Okay. So the first one is the whatever gadget you're selling. It's tracking inventory. In this case, gadget 101, gadget 201, something like that. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how this one is set up. So you set up your inventory as usual. If you're familiar with how you track inventory, they do the same thing. So this is consignment sales inventory. Okay, hold on a second in here. Okay, I gotta make this a little bit smaller. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to edit this. Okay, so it's basically you set up the gadget and you name it whatever if you want to come up with the category, then I'd have the consignment sales inventory as a separate category, and then your description, whatever your item is selling, that will show up on your sales form, invoices, or a sales receipt. And the same principle is basically sales income account. In this case, you can't select the liability account if you're tracking inventory on inventory setup. You can't. This is the inventory one. Inventory one. You have to select income account. You have no option. Okay. So on the other one, if you're the non-inventory type, you can select the liability account. But in this case, since you're tracking inventory, QBO don't give you an option to select liability account. You have no option. Consignment sales. Okay, so it's basically, I'm going to make this in and out type. Okay, and the cost side doesn't matter because there's no cost involved. The cost is there's no cost involved. You're not paying any cost there. Okay, so don't worry about the cost side. You won't see any cost of goods sold in here. Okay, and so there's another one, 201. That's a separate item. Okay, and then accounting wise is basically just like we went through. Okay, in this case I created 3 service items. Okay, the first one is commission income on consignment sales, which is your income, your service item, or you can create a non-in, whatever, doesn't matter. But I created as commission service. This you're providing service as consignments, doing consignment sales. Okay, so that's the first one. And the second one is the contra of this gadget 101. So it'd be like a negative one. And use the same one. Consignment sales income is a contra. It's basically whatever items is selling, you want to reverse it and then set up as your liability. So it's the same one. Okay. So once you see the bundle, then it'll be more clear to you. And the third one is the liability, of course. See, liability and consignment sales. Okay, the one we also did on the previous example. So this is the liability one. Okay, and then you create a bundle. Okay, now go to the bundle one here. So create a bundle, and so bundle would include all these 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So create a bundle, and whatever item you're selling, just name it. Okay. It's not one. I'm going to go to bundle one here. Right here. This is bundle one. Okay, so the first one is the Gadget 101. Okay, and then the consignment sales contra. This whatever you sell in here minus negative. It's a reversal. You sell $100 here, and the contra is $100. Then becomes zero, and then back to your commission portion and the remaining liability. So in this case, you sold for $100 plus 2 is a was plus and minus, and the other one is 20%, $20 is your income, and 80%, $80 is your liability. Okay, simple as that. Okay, so now I've already created sales receipt. Let's see. Sales receipt. Okay. If you create an invoice, the same thing. Okay, as you can see here, I'm going to make this a little smaller. Okay, so this is the bundle one. You just select a gadget 101, and it will then you will list all these uh, bundle items. Okay, so the first one is 10,000. You sold for $10,000. Okay, and this is what your customer will see when you do the top line, and the rest is your internal. See right here, 10,000. Okay, so the first one is 10,000. The first one is 10,000, and since it's a negative one, that's a negative one. You don't have to put negative in here. Just a minus one is that will reverse the top one, line number 2. Okay, and then and this is your commission income, and the remaining portion is $8,000. It is your liability. Simple as that. Okay, so if you look at the journal side, okay, you sold for 10,000, which is this, and then you reverse it out. So it's basically money at the bank, and these two reverse out, and then your 2,000 is income, and 8,000 is your liability account. Simple as that. Okay. Still confused? I'm going to create a new one. All right. Let's say you have a customer. All right. You sold it to Chris Smith. That's your customer. And let's say you sold it on June 1. Okay. And consigner's name, let's say uh, someone's name is a tracking, and you select the product service item, which is, let's say, 101. Nope, that's not the one. This one. Okay, here we go. See, when you select the bundle, it will list all whatever items you have. Now you just have to fill out the items you're selling it for. Let's say you're selling it for $40,000. Okay, and the negative is also 40,000. That's in and out one. And now you got to figure out your commission portion. Let's say it's 20%, so that's $8,000 is your income, and then the remaining 40 minus 8,000 is 32,000 is your liability. Okay, see, it's a $40,000 sales, and you save it, and if you look at the if you preview the invoice or sales receipt in this case, you should see only 40,000. Just one item. This is what your customers will see. Customers won't see all the breakdown, the split. Okay. So that's all you need to do. And when it's time to pay it, you can write a check or whatever you want to do, or bank transfer, and make sure you use the reference. If you have in this case, sales receipt number is 1001 or whatever, and then you'll have some backup for your customer. Okay, so that's the focus of this video. Hopefully this is helpful. Uh, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have two channels. And have a great day. Thank you. Bye.